You are listening to Season 2 of The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, the short and often daily podcast in which I chronicle my life and attempt to be a writer by writing daily. Sometimes. Hello, today is Wednesday the 28th of May 2025 and you're listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. And shock horror, you've got 2 days on the trot. I'm going to try and be a little more consistent over the next couple of, well, certainly to the end of the month, because I really want to hit show 125. Like I may have said in the past, I quite like the idea of doing about 300 episodes a year. Obviously, there's 365 days in a year, but that means basically if I do 25 shows a month, that gets me there. Well, end of May, I would need to be on 125, and I'm going to be if I do one every day till the end of the month. But then I need to get a little bit ahead again, because it'd be quite nice to have a few days off before Christmas like I did last year. Anyway, so I woke up this morning in Paris quite early, had a shower, went to work, and we flew our lovely aeroplane from Paris back to London. And then we flew from London to one of the two airports in Milan. And then we flew back. And then I got into my car and I drove home. And there seemed to be quite a big problem on the M25. So I had to come home an unusual route. I kind of went onto the M4, which then cut across to the took a road that cut across to the M40. And then I was back on my normal route home. But yeah, it was just a bit unusual. And I got home and I am quite tired. I've done quite well to stay awake. It's 8:30 as I record this. I'm going to go to bed soon. Well, now, basically, as soon as I've uploaded. In fact, I was literally about to go to bed and I thought, should do a podcast, really, because otherwise it's going to end up being every other day again. So here I am recording. And I haven't written today. I have done a bit more reading, actually. I did a bit of reading yesterday in Paris. I'm still reading the Ian M. Banks' second book in his, what's the series called? Anyway, the big sci-fi series he did. And the book's called The Player of Games. And I'm about 2/3, slightly more than 2/3 of the way through it now. And it's one that I read a long time ago and absolutely loved when I read it before. And I'm enjoying it, but I'm not quite. I read my Goodreads review from when I read it a few years ago, and I'm not quite sure why my review is so ludicrously glowing. It's a good book, but I gave it like a 5-star review. Anyway, so what are my plans over the next couple of days? Well, tomorrow, hopefully, I'm going to do a little bit of work on chapter 17. That's kind of my plan. In fact, I could technically, if I do, because basically, up to and including chapter 20, I have done all the screen work on it. So I've read those last 4 chapters. It's just a case I need to of needing to physically sign them off. And if I can sign off 17 and 18 tomorrow and 19 and 20 on whatever day it is, Friday, I stand a chance of hitting my target that I originally set myself for the end of the month. I won't exceed it, but that's fine. But if I don't, it doesn't really matter. Oh, sorry, I'm really tired. And I literally was about to turn my light off to sleep when I remembered I ought to do this. So I'll try and just see where it goes. But I've been thinking lots about the Still Life sequel. Really have been. I mean, ideas are coming into my head. I've got quite a detailed chapter plan for it, but I think it's going to end up getting a bit more complex and detailed, because I've had ideas for characters that aren't in that draft, and actually something a friend of mine said to me, my friend who read Still Life recently, I thought something she said would make a really interesting plot point. What if one of Max Sosie's victims, when she's freed from the painting, is pregnant? And I thought, that that could be. I mean, he's not a demon. It's not like the baby's going to be the spawn of Satan or anything, but just the psychological impact of that. I don't know. So I've kind of been thinking about which character that could be, and I keep getting drawn back to in my head. There's a character from the Second World War who we see a painting of an air transport auxiliary, an ATA or ATA, I don't know how they pronounced it in those days. But basically they were pilots that were used to what we would call now positioning. They moved the planes to where they needed to be so the men could take them up and fight in them, but their job was to literally get them to the airfield where the attacks were going to be launched from or whatever. So I've mentioned quite a couple of times in Still Life a woman standing in front of a Lancaster bomber, and I just think that's a character, and I'd never really planned to do anything with her, but that might be an interesting character to do something with down the line. And I need more of a meaty role for Molly Clark or Molly Smith, and I think I'm going to do more about people brought back from the past, and she's going to effectively help to rehabilitate them, having successfully rehabilitated from 1918 or 1915 to the modern day. She's going to help other people do the same. And I've just had loads of ideas of scenes and things that could happen, and how that will integrate with the other storyline, because of course the other storyline is about effectively a coup within the Sutherland Institute, the people that govern the use of these abilities. And I've got loads of quite big decisions to make, the fates of certain characters. So I've got a character that I absolutely adore. They're one of my favourites that I created. I'm not going to say who, but there's lots of characters I really like in his book, so it doesn't give it away much. There's a character that first appeared in the first book, was quite a major character in the first book, and I don't know, there's going to be a power struggle, and I think she's going to end up initially on the wrong side, i.e. the bad side. But I think when she defects, when she crosses the floor to the good side, there's going to be some quite severe consequences for her, possibly the ultimate consequence, which I don't want to do, but yeah, it might be interesting. Anyway, so loads of decisions to make. Anyway, I'll stop talking now. I'll be back at some point tomorrow, hopefully. See if I can manage 3 days on the trot. Thank you for listening. Take care. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. For more information about what I'm writing, go to linktr.ee/Richard Writes, capital R, capital W, where you can find details of my website and social media. I may see you there.